This is the video of our trip to Alaska in June 1994. We flew into Anchorage and drove up to Talkeetna, then up to Denali National Park and Mount McKinley, back down to Anchorage, and then to Seward. Then we drove over to Homer, and then back to Anchorage, where we took the midnight flight out of Anchorage. We are flying northwest over the Alaska Kenai Peninsula toward Anchorage. This is Anchorage, and that's a picture of an Eskimo on the tail of that plane. This is our motel for tonight, the Talkeetna Roadhouse. This is just like you would expect an old, small Alaska town to look like.
This is the road that goes into the town of Talkeetna. And that's the Alaska Range.
This is the bottom part of Mount McKinley. Unfortunately, the top of it is hidden in the clouds, as it usually is. This is a postcard picture of Mount McKinley, taken from close to the same location. We took a sightseeing flight from Talkeetna and landed at the Kahiltna Glacier base camp used by mountain climbers that are climbing Mount McKinley. Kahiltna Glacier is 45 miles long, and we landed at the 7,200 foot altitude point. Here we are on Kahiltna Glacier. The mountain climbers partially bury their tent so that they don't get blown away in the event of a storm.
This is Mount McKinley, with the top is hidden in the clouds.
Here comes another plane in to either drop off or pick up some mountain climbers. Notice how the bottom of the plane has been modified so that it can carry additional gear, carry more cargo. This is how you make a left turn when you're flying in a little Cessna. Do you see that moose in the middle of the picture?
This is about mile marker 189 on the Parks Highway heading north. And I don't know what that's supposed to be. They call it an igloo.
This is our cabin at Denali Park. Even though it's midnight, you can see that the sky is still fairly light. The next morning we got up bright and early for a tour through Denali Park, starting with a moose by the side of the road.
This is the bus that we rode on. We're in an area called Polychrome Basin. Just a light rain falling right now. That's the willow ptarmigan, the Alaska state bird.
Oh, he's looking this way.
This is a caribou. It's also known as a reindeer. These caribou were quite a long distance away, but I was able to take some snapshots to get a little closer picture. Here are some more mountain goats. These are sled dogs, which is probably quite obvious. They are hooking the dogs up to a sled. The sled has a couple of wheels on it.
Be careful where you move.
On any member of the kennel staff. And I also want to point out one other thing, and that's this book here.
This is south of Denali on the road back to our cabins.
It's 1 a.m. and it doesn't really get much darker than this throughout the night.
He's just drinking water.
That car is right beside him.
We liked Talkeetna so much that we stopped here again on the way back.
This is it. This is the whole town. We're in beautiful downtown Talkeetna. Carol's panning for gold.
Right there, she said. Oh, here's a big piece, Jim, right there.
I just made a reservation for the next dinner.
The sign says, "Lost Baby Chicken, color black. Reward, free cheeseburger with fries and soda." We are at a ranch that raises muskox. They make very expensive scarves and sweaters from the fur from the muskox obtained by brushing the ox. The ox is never sheared.
This is taken from partway up the road, Hatcher Pass, out of Palmer. It's the little Susitna River down there. We're at the top of Hatcher Pass, outside of Palmer. This is an old gold mining community. And this is the visitor center. Okay.
It's ticking, it's recording, so get down.
Okay.
Okay. Want me to get down now?
Yes.
Ouch! Did it.
This is the Copper Whale Inn, where we stayed the night. This is the view from the parking lot of our motel. It's a bed and breakfast. This is the view from our room in Anchorage at the Copper Whale Inn, overlooking Cook Inlet. It's almost midnight. This is Mount McKinley as viewed from Anchorage. The place is called the Birdhouse. It's a bar and a liquor store. And the building was damaged slightly in the earthquake 30 years ago.
You see, in all my life, I've never found what I couldn't resist, what I couldn't turn down. I could walk away from anyone I ever knew, but I over me.
This is a Californian thing.
All my life, my
Due to the earthquake, the bar is tilted at a pretty good angle, almost enough for a beer can to slide along the bar by itself. This train takes cars, vehicles, and people through the mountains to the town of Whittier, where they can catch the ferry across Prince William Sound to various other locations, including Valdez. There is no road to Whittier. The train is the only way to get there, or ferry. This is Exit Glacier near Seward. This is the walkway leading to Exit Glacier.
This is Exit Glacier. It's sliding down the hill at the rate of about 20 inches per day. The ice is about 40 to 50 years old.
Notice the dirt that's piled up at the bottom of the glacier. As the glacier slides down the mountainside, it scrapes up the dirt and pushes the dirt in front of it like a plow. The dirt that's scraped up is called a moraine. The dirt at the end of the glacier that you're looking at here is called a terminal moraine.
This is the town of Seward, early in the morning. That's in Seward, in front of the Van Gilder Hotel where we spent the night. That's a National Historical Site, built in 1916. This is the Van Gilder Hotel in Seward that we're staying at. It's a restored historical building. This is our room. We're getting ready to take a tour of the Kenai Fjords. This is the boat that we'll be taking.
Let us know if you're having trouble hearing any of the announcements or narration. And the cabin temperature, if it's too cold or too warm, please.
Starts way up in the mountainside and slowly moves down the hill, down the valley. And as it
look at how high this glacier is compared to the size of that boat.
Alright, we are now an eighth of a mile from the face of Holgate Glacier. It's about 600 feet, a little more than that, about 800.
More is coming from that area.
People sit along these tide rifts where there's lots of food, and they will just gorge themselves on these small bait fish. He's kind of playing around up there on the surface. There he is.
That was a whale, but these are dolphins that have markings very similar to a killer whale.
Okay, do something. Cue the whale.
There she blows. Some humpback whales would come over. I think it's ran out of film.
Right in front of him, straight ahead.
Yes, that was a killer whale. Now let's take another look at that in slow motion.
Vegetation, and we know exactly where we are at all times.
There he is.
Now we are back in Seward.
This is the Kenai River at Soldotna. This is Cook Inlet as seen from the town of Kenai. I have no idea what he's doing. And a number of those mountains are actually volcanoes, but I can't, I don't know which ones are which. One of them is Redoubt Volcano, which blows its stack every few years.
Let's back up here. That looks like it could be a volcano letting off some steam.
We're in the town of Kenai, and this is a Russian chapel. And this is an old Russian church in the town of Kenai. This is Ninilchik village. with the old Russian church at the top of the hill. This is the entrance to Kachemak Bay near Homer.
This is a glacier on the other side of Kachemak Bay from Homer.
A lot of nice houses up here. Kids bouncing on a trampoline.
This is the Homer Spit, a spit of land extending several miles out into Kachemak Bay, and our hotel is on the very tip end of this strip of land, right about there. This is the Homer Spit. The town of Homer is up here on the mainland, and our hotel is down here at the very tip end of the strip of land. The restaurant at the hotel had an outdoor deck overlooking the bay where we enjoyed our breakfast. The weather was warm enough to put on shorts and walk the beach. This is the view from our room at the Land's End Hotel on Homer Spit.
Carol and Mary, turn around and say hi.
Hey,
Hey.
I have the same feeling, but I don't remember.
This is our rather rustic but extremely comfortable hotel room in Homer on Kachemak Bay.
This is a bald eagle enjoying a late night snack on the beach right in front of our hotel room.
Just looking at the rippling effect of the lake bed here at low tide.
This is the boat harbor on Homer Spit. This is the ferry boat that we're taking over to Halibut Cove. The Danny J is also known as the Kachemak Bay Ferry.
And the only predator that bothers these birds is the bald eagle. And once the fish start running, the bald eagle doesn't bother the birds too much. This first rock is called Kittywake Rock. It's most of the kittiwakes nest on it.
These birds are puffins. They're about the size of a duck, and they're identified by their great big orange bill and the yellow stripe down the side of their head.
To the left, and that's where we'll be for the afternoon. The mainland is to the right.
We are approaching the community of Halibut Cove, which is accessible only by ferry boat.
It's a real warm day here at Halibut Cove. Probably temperature in the mid-70s, short sleeve shirt weather. This is just a real pretty spot on Halibut Cove.
Back at the harbor, this is where the fishermen bring in their catch of halibut.
Right to the back, follow back. That's us. Well, I don't know. Here, stay right here.
Dude, that's one of my plastics.
You can see that there are a lot of people camping along the Homer Spit. This is a ferry boat. The sign says Homer, Alaska, halibut fishing capital of the world. We are driving back to Anchorage from Homer. We've got a plane to catch at midnight tonight.
One of many glaciers. This is Portage Glacier. And this is Portage Glacier. Well, actually, it's just a part of it. Do it again.
This is a marsh next to the highway, just south of Anchorage.
The bird that we saw at the beginning of this scene was a common snipe.
We got on our plane in Anchorage at midnight, got home the next day, totally exhausted.